Hey guys, welcome to a pretty significant astrology day that we have going on today. Jupiter, the planet of luck, blessings, expansion, truth, freedom, leaving the sign of Pisces, entering the sign of Aries. And it is also starting a new 12-year cycle as Jupiter is entering again the first sign of the zodiac. It takes Jupiter about a year to transit each sign. So we're going through another 12-year journey around the zodiac in terms of Jupiter. What are we growing? What is expanding for us? And where is our success coming from? Okay. There is a lot that we need to talk about in the context of Jupiter's switch from the sign of Pisces into the sign of Aries today. And we're also going to look at some of the energy that's playing out today alongside of this transit. So let's get into this chart, you guys. Let's look at how this energy is coming together for us and what Jupiter in Aries is likely to mean for us throughout the course of this year and in the context of the energy that is playing out today as well. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Tuesday, December 20th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day. If you guys stick with me till the end of the report, we're going to be looking at some tarot cards that came out in conjunction with our astrology today, just so that we can get a more well-rounded overview of what is going on an energetic level for Jupiter's rebirth today into the sign of Aries, where he will now be. So let's start with the astrology, and then we'll move on and talk about the tarot. But the big news, like I said today, is this Jupiter entrance into Aries. If you guys notice on this little chart that I put up right here on this side of your screen, Jupiter is at 0 degrees, 0 minutes of the sign of Aries around 12 p.m. Eastern time in the United States. So there we have it. And like I said, this is a 12, we're starting a new 12-year cycle. If you want to know, kind of look at the Jupiter cycles in your life, you can go back 12 years, and that would be around the time when the last Jupiter cycle started, and you can kind of see where and how your life has grown or what new things started around that period of time and the direction that they went in. I mean, when we're talking about the sign of Aries, this is the initiation point. This is the first sign of the zodiac. This is the spark of life. Whenever we have Jupiter moving to the sign of Aries, this is expanding the possibilities, unlimited potential and newness. This is a time for expanded action into creating from that unlimited space after Jupiter coming through the sign of Pisces, which dissolves things, right? Pisces breaks things down. And we're going to talk all about the dynamic between Jupiter and Pisces and now moving into Jupiter and Aries in this report. But this is definitely indicating a major energetic shift from avoidance, okay, to action, from being passive about things to being assertive about things, from sort of being in like a processing period and kind of just like going with the flow of things to being very active and taking a lot of initiative and being very motivated to make things happen. Pisces, right? This is the last sign of the zodiac, all about endings, dissolving, oneness. We're dissolving back into oneness. Pisces energy seeks to essentially like escape the more 3D reality of things and is much more comfortable in just the bliss of union with all that is and the divine. It is merging with spirit and the spiritual planes, escaping reality, spiritual union and transcendence. When we're talking about Aries, as I said, this is the spark. This is the ignition. This is the surge of energy that makes it all happen. This is like the, when you're like oversleeping and you wake up and you realize you've slept past your alarm and you like jump to your feet and it's just like, wow, that like electric impulse that like spurs you into action. That's that Aries energy that like spurs something into life or makes something happen. And it's also the sign of the self. It's this life force energy that comes through when we're dealing with the Aries vibe, and especially 1 degree of Aries, 0 degrees of Aries. That is the like igniting point. That is the spark plug. That is the fuse that lights, and from that point all else can spring forth. And Jupiter, we're talking about Jupiter. Jupiter's the planet of truth. Like I said, truth, wisdom, faith, trust, confidence, belief, luck, blessings, supersizing things, having the bird's eye view, having a higher expanded perception into stuff. It rules our belief systems. And in the sign of Pisces, okay, and throughout the course of 2022, because Jupiter transits are about a year long. So we're talking about this past basically entire year. Now, Jupiter I will say, and I probably should have said this when I started, Jupiter was in Aries briefly not long ago, but then Jupiter retrograded back into Pisces. Jupiter has since gone direct and has moved through Pisces, of course, and is now coming back to the starting point in Aries. So Jupiter's actually re-entering Aries, but Jupiter will stay in Aries now and continue the transit until he moves into Taurus. So we're in the real deal Jupiter starting this new cycle right now, whereas before we were just sort of like tipping our toes in there and then we went back into Pisces. But 2022, okay, was really about, with Jupiter in the sign of Pisces. Jupiter is also the original ruler of Pisces. So Jupiter is in domicile in Pisces. It's Jupiter's home sign. So this is a very strong Jupiter energy. And Jupiter in Pisces, this was expanding, right? And this Jupiterian fashion blows things up, supersizes them, expands our own spiritual truth. Jupiter ruling truth in the sign of Pisces, ruling our connection to the spiritual world, the spiritual planes, our higher self. This was giving us an expanded ability to really sort of merge with a higher version of ourselves, and also throughout this process to detach or to dissolve or to fade away from anything that was sort of like interfering with our ability to come into this greater union with our higher selves. It was dissolving and washing away old parts of ourselves that were out of alignment with this expanded version of us, in alignment with these higher truths that we were coming to acknowledge, because, you know, those are the two sides of the Pisces energy, the two fish swimming in opposite directions. On one side, it's like this ability to merge and have the spiritual union. On the other side, it washes away, it fades away, it dissolves things. Pisces rules loss and endings. It's the 12th sign of the zodiac. It's, you know, where we merge back into our heavenly realms and get ready to go through the process of, you know, rebirth and going through the whole cycle of life again. It's the archetype and the dynamic of what this vibration represents. So with Jupiter there, it's this expanded period of release as well, right? And we have also simultaneously to Jupiter in Pisces expanding release, okay, and detachment, been going through a karmic detox with the South Node currently transiting the sign of Scorpio as well. We had Jupiter in Pisces and the South Node in Scorpio. These two dynamics were really helping us to shed our old skin essentially on several different levels in terms of our, you know, own ego attachments in a lot of ways, but also in terms of a lot of the karmic loops and the negative subconscious patterning and the generational trauma and stuff like that as well, that may have been keeping us detached from our ability to like reunite with this higher version of our higher truth. And we've also been in this 222 years simultaneously on the, you know, more numerological frequency based level that was also trying to like recalibrate us in such a way that we were coming back into a more balanced relationship and a more harmonious relationship to our own self, and to recalibrate our vibration in a way that was more authentic and, again, like in alignment with that higher truth, so that we can actually begin to attract and magnetize these like vibrations externally in the form of opportunities and partnerships and relationships and just like physical living circumstances generally that are a much better match for that which will bring us a sense of true fulfillment, as they are a mirror of a vibration that is more in alignment with our authentic personal vibration, instead of any type of false presentation or just persona or image or version of ourselves that we may have created to fit some type of familial or cultural societal standard that maybe was somewhat detached from, like, you know, who we actually are or our own personal truth. And so this whole 2022 year with Jupiter and Pisces as well, breaking things down, releasing, dissolving, South Node in Scorpio, deep subconscious traumas and complexes and karmic attachments and patterning that have been keeping us out of that truth of authenticity, which with the North Node in Taurus right now as well, helping us to recognize, you know, our inner value and potential that then acts as a catalyst in this process of self-actualization that is associated with the age of Aquarius that we are transitioning into right now as well. So, you know, this whole year of 2022 had a lot of various dimensions simultaneously playing out that were helping us to essentially like go through a death and rebirth process on an energetic and vibrational level, so that we can detach ourselves from that which isn't real and that which isn't true, just individually and collectively across the board, so that we can move into this new collective human story, this new age of Aquarius, coming from a place of authenticity and truth, because that really is what this new paradigm is built upon. And we are laying the foundations for it now with Saturn in the sign of Aquarius and moving into 2023 and Pluto moving into the sign of Aquarius. This is really going to be gaining some power and some momentum, okay? But bringing it back to where we are right now, in Jupiter leaving Pisces, or Jupiter having been in Pisces throughout 2022, this expanded period of release and endings based in the 3D matrix as well. In reality, remember, Neptune likes to escape from reality, likes to avoid what is actually like physically happening in the 3D world, things physically ending, or that we have been in a process of being released from, that had maybe really had a hold over us and kept us from being able to see ourselves clearly. Neptune also rules illusions and distortions, and Jupiter rules truth. So Jupiter transiting the sign of Pisces was also as a part of this process of expanding our ability to connect and relate to our higher selves, was also destroying some illusions that we may have been operating under that, again, had been keeping us from coming into this greater alignment with that wisdom that we've gained throughout this year, that is acting as the initiative sort of force that's going to be driving us forward now that we have Jupiter moving into the sign of Aries. And this, of course, also, what are we moving out of? The age of Pisces. Jupiter in Pisces expanding, right? This expansive energy of eroding and dissolving things. And what is it eroding and dissolving? That Pisces energy itself. So released us from the age of Pisces, working to release us from the age of Pisces in correspondence with this Scorpio South node and this karmic detox and this like death rebirth cycle in terms of generational systems and cycles and patterns that have been going on as well. So really, this 2022 year, on one hand, was the year of pretty profound release and detachment. On the other hand, priming us for and through a much greater union with our own selves, so that when we start moving forward, we have a much better idea of what will actually bring us fulfillment, who we are, what will make us happy going forward. A huge period of loss and endings, though, represented through Jupiter in the sign of Pisces. Many souls passed during this time as well. In ancient astrology, actually, Jupiter is also, aside from all of its positive qualities, interpreted as a bringer of the end to life in certain situations and cases. And with Jupiter in the sign of Pisces, it's not, this is going to mark a period of time where there are like a lot of souls that are also leaving the earth plane, because Pisces detaches things from reality, right? And Jupiter expands things. On a darker note as well, Jupiter also, Pisces also rules drugs, and it also rules suicides. And there was an expanded potential for a lot of this to be going on over this period of time. And that is also something that I feel like we've seen, unfortunately, because of this very strong desire, collective desire to just sort of check out of reality. That's just one of the things that is indicated when Jupiter is transiting the last sign of this cycle. However, also, there are the more negative sides of this energy, but on the other side, it is also this awakening spiritual truths and breaking these karmic cycles, essentially 2022, wiping us clean in a lot of ways, purifying us also for this resurgence of life force energy that's coming through in 2023. Like, yes, 2022 may have been a year of a lot of loss, a lot of endings, a lot of pain and emotional hardship and like diminished life force in a lot of cases. But now with this new Jupiter cycle, this new cycle of growth and expansion in alignment with these newly redefined philosophies and morals, and our newly redefined relationship that we have to our higher selves and our higher truth, we're wiser, we're more spiritually tuned, we're cleared out karmically. We've surrendered our karmic burden, and we're ready to create and to recreate. And the North Node right now, actually the destiny point where we're going, ironically happens to be at 13 degrees of Taurus right now. That Sabian symbol is a porter carrying a heavy mountain of baggage. So, Jupiter entering the sign of Aries with the North Node at that degree, I feel like it's talking about, we're literally like surrendering our baggage, or we have surrendered our baggage to the divine, to a higher power. And now we are ready to, in a much more liberated way, lighter way, begin moving forward in a brand new direction, creating this new personal paradigm for ourselves, this new 12-year cycle of growth and expansion, in alignment with these more personal higher truths that we have come back into alignment with at this point in time. And also, Mars, right, rules the sign of Aries, where Jupiter is right now. What Mars is doing is going to be very important when for the entire transit of Jupiter through the sign of Aries, and Mars is retrograde right now in the sign of Gemini. This is talking about redefining our ideas and our mind and our view of ourselves personally. And also Mercury right now is in the sign of Capricorn, about reforming and restructuring and laying new foundations. We're about to reform our own reality based on this embodiment of these personal truths that we are ready to fight for and defend in this Jupiter and Aries energy moving forward. Jupiter and Aries about an expansion of personal truth, desire to embody that, to surge ahead. We are becoming the lessons that we've learned. Chiron, the wounded healer, teacher, master archetype, is also in the sign of Aries right now. We're going to have a Jupiter Chiron conjunction coming up this year. That is these lessons and this self-mastery that we've gained throughout the journey that we've gone on through the past 12 years at this point, and what our experiences have taught us, the level of self-mastery that we've come to. We're becoming the lessons that we've learned, and we're ready to move forward towards totally new experiences. And I do, you guys think, whereas, we're coming out of a year right now where there may have been a lot of loss, I think this year there's going to be a lot of life. I think there's going to be a lot of babies being born, things coming into creation. I think there's going to be a resurgence of life force energy that is just flowing throughout the energetic field and the collective of humanity. This is going to be an extremely action-oriented year. We're going to feel motivated, inspired, passionate, fired up, assertive, aggressive, ready to sort of take on the world and move mountains, honestly. Like, that's the vibe this year. And also, there's likely to be an emphasis on men and masculine energy generally. I think this is going to be sort of like the year of the man. I feel like I was saying, because we're talking about Jupiter moving to the sign of Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars. Jupiter is a positive planet. Jupiter rules like celebration and fortune and success. It's not all positive, and we're going to talk about some of the more negative tendencies that we're going to have to watch out for with Jupiter in the sign of Aries. But I do feel like for the most part this year, there's likely to be a shift that goes on in terms of like the collective narrative that's surrounding masculine energy. I feel like we're coming out of a period of time right now where masculine energy has been more persecuted and more repressed amongst the collective of humanity. And I think that this year we're going to see a resurgence of the masculine energy that is being celebrated and appreciated a lot more than it has been in the recent past. Especially also with Mars and Gemini, while Mars is transiting the sign of Gemini, because Gemini is a sign of conversation and information and news and headlines. There's likely to be a lot of like men, like a focus on men, a focus on masculinity, influential men making big things happen this year in a positive, successful, productive way, fighting for truth, fighting for freedom, men becoming re-inspired to embrace their masculine energy, men taking back masculine energy or the narrative on masculine energy in one way or another. And this is going to be balancing things out as well. Again, we're moving from a passive energy to a more assertive and active energy. Now, like I said, this is likely to lead to more conflict, more fights. There's a flip side to the masculine energy as well. There's probably going to be more war, more battle, more conflict, potentially more rage, more violence. Big egos as well, people having a hard time controlling their temper or practicing measures of self-control. That's something that we're definitely going to have to look out for in this Jupiter Aries energy, because it's so gung-ho, like it's so fired up and inspired by like this personal righteousness and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to have to be careful with just totally flying off the handle and having no self-control. Jupiter doesn't have boundaries, okay? So this is lack of personal boundaries as well. So like people could just be really like overly aggressive or overly over the top, you know. We're going to see more fights because people are less able to control their anger, but we're also going to be more fights because people have less desire to sit down or to take a back seat anymore. This is the type of energy where in the past, in Jupiter and Pisces, if a conflict came up, we may have been more avoidant or more passive aggressive about it. But this is the type of energy where instead of maybe like, you know, walking down the street and somebody looking at you and saying something and you just sort of looking at them sideways and keep walking, like this is the type of energy where you're like, hold on, wait, what did you say? Do you want to come over here and say that again a little bit closer? Do you want to have a conversation about it? Like that's the type of vibe. Like people are much less likely to be letting things slide when it comes to personal slights in any type of way as well, because this is Jupiter in the sign of Aries, in the sign of the self, and this is blowing up our ego. This is also making us just more attached to or more aware of things going on specifically with us personally. More likely, of course, like I said several times, to defend and fight and like go to war for our personal truth. Specifically also while Mars is transiting the sign of Gemini, our freedom of speech, our freedom of movement, our freedom of thought, like those are going to be the priorities. Those are going to be what people are like snapping over and like not willing to tolerate a disregard for in this energy. Like if somebody's shutting down personal speech or personal truth or personal ideas or ability to move and stuff like that as well, like personal freedom of movement in the sign of Gemini, with Mars in the sign of a Gemini, like, it's not going to go over well. And, you know, yes, we do have more of this rage, more of this violence, more of this aggression, more of this war type behavior, war drum type behavior. But on the other side of things, there's also more protection, more defense. It's like, yes, there's more fighting, but there's also more like the force that is protecting and prohibiting like things from just going crazy is also very strong. I do feel like this divine masculine energy, because Jupiter is the great benefic, you guys. Yes, on one hand, you know, there is going to be a lot more fighting and aggression and rage and war type behavior with Jupiter in the sign of Aries. It's really going to light the spark. It's really going to light the fuse. It's really going to fire people up, but it's like righteous anger. You know what I mean? Like it's like revolution also. It's like not standing for it anymore. It's fighting for freedom and truth and what's right for like people, for the individual, with it being in the sign of Mars. This life force energy, this creative energy that is sparking this year. It's like, I want the freedom to create, to move forward, to go in a new direction in alignment with my personal truth. And I'm not going to allow myself to be repressed or held down by anything. It's a year of following your passion, starting something new, taking big action, and also turning dreams into reality. We have had a lot of time over this past year with Jupiter in the sign of Pisces also ruling dreams and fantasies and illusions to really get a better idea also of what our dreams really are and what it is that we do truly idealize for ourselves. Like what would the ideal situation really be? Well, now that we know that and we have Jupiter now moving in the sign of Aries, it's like, okay, so what can I do then to make my dreams happen, to turn my dreams into reality? That's how we can use this 2022 year. That's one of the best, or 2023 year, sorry, coming up. That's one of the best ways that we can use this 2023 energy, is to use it in the context of turning our dreams into reality through really like getting active now about putting into practice or embodying all of the new truths and all the new revelations and the changes that we've come to understand that we need to make, or that we want to make, or that we're feeling compelled to, or that we're having the urge at this point in time. Like 2023, this is the time to do it. And we're going to be being supported by the universe in terms of motivation and courage and strength. To even our risks are going to be supported in this energy. So, it's going to do a lot of positive things for us. The main things that we need to sort of watch out for are biting off more than we can chew, like spreading ourselves too thin. Like this is really could cause us to just be very, like, we feel very motivated and very inspired and very alive maybe in some ways that we haven't in a while. So we just need to be careful about like not going way over the top or way out of bounds or just like way overextending ourselves or way over giving, because Mercury's about to also go retrograde. Mercury's currently ruling the position of Mars. Mars is ruling the position of Jupiter. So there's going to be a bit of a backlash coming up over the month of January, I think. If we are too just like gung-ho and not thinking things through properly, we're going to be needing to make adjustments to whatever we're starting now. So we may feel very fired up and very inspired to like get going in some direction, but we want to keep in mind that whatever we're starting right now is going to require adaptation, adjustments, revisions before it is ready to really move forward in a direction that is going to lead to success. So we want to make sure that we're not, again, just getting carried away, and that we are maintaining a level of self-discipline, self-control, and that we're not like overlooking like the details and the fine print and just like the more like intricate parts of whatever we might be involved in right now, because that can have a tendency of sort of getting missed in the expanded viewpoint and the expanded energy when we're dealing with Jupiter, specifically in Jupiter in Aries. So that's really what I want to say about this Jupiter moving into Aries in the context of Jupiter moving out of Pisces, going from this passive receptive energy to this active assertive energy. And I mean, you think about it, like it's this masculine energy that's being inspired within all of us. It's not just specifically in men, although I do feel that men will play a more prominent role this year. But, you know, it's all of us. It's all of us being fired up to defend what's ours and to go after what we want. So that's the vibe, you guys. And I do feel like it's going to make some big changes in terms of like the collective scene and the world stage right now. And also I feel like we're really going to experience our personal paradigm shift in a much more physical, tangible, and possibly positive way throughout the course of 2023 as well. Now, specifically in terms of what we have just going on today, we do have the moon in Scorpio. Like I was talking about, the South Node in Scorpio, all about release in conjunction with Jupiter moving into Aries state, not conjunction, the aspect, just like happening simultaneous to each other. And the moon in Scorpio is forming both a square to Saturn and a trine to Neptune. So today, in the context of Jupiter moving into the sign of Aries, emotionally, the moon, right? This is kind of a deep and emotional day. We may feel a bit stuck between what we know we should be doing, moon in Scorpio, square Saturn and Aquarius, duty, responsibilities, obligation, air sign. We know we should be doing it, but moon in Scorpio also forming a trine to Neptune in Pisces, this Neptune Pisces energy that we just got done talking about, but we're really not feeling like doing anything perhaps. So that could be sort of what the struggle is today. Aside from the Jupiter energy, we're probably feeling it. Something within us probably feels like it's waking up a little bit. We may feel a little extra irritated. We may feel just a little bit more spicy in one way or another than usual, but there's likely to be this like just underlying feeling today that like, I've got to do this. I really don't want to do that. I know that I should do that, but I really just kind of want to relax or zone out, or moon in Scorpio and trine to Neptune and Pisces, avoid reality, escape reality, meditate, daydream, fantasize, not do anything, fantasize about how I'm going to turn my goals into reality instead of perhaps doing this more mundane task or, you know, my obligations or my duty or responsibility. Like that's probably the vibe. That's probably how we're feeling today with this Jupiter energy alongside of the moon making these aspects. But, you know, again, like a passion or something inspiring us or motivation or like an itch to do something or an anger that we feel like is just like there all of a sudden within us as well, that makes us feel like we're just like waking back up in some way. Things that we've also been like ignoring or avoiding or pretending like aren't happening for a period of time might also sort of come back up or start to bother us, or we might notice them again, or they might seem like unavoidable in a way where before maybe we had just felt if we just ignored them, they'd just like go away and totally disappear. We can't really run from things the same way that we could with Jupiter in the sign of Pisces, but it's okay because we're more ready and prepared to confront them now as well. We could feel angry or irritated about things that we thought were over or that were done or that we didn't care about as well, especially also with Mars retrograde in Gemini right now. This could also just sort of be making us angry or hostile or frustrated or passionate about some type of past situation that's gone on that all of a sudden is in our head and we thought we let it go or we thought we were over it, or it comes back up somehow and we realize like, oh, like this is still a thing for me. This is still bothering me. This is another way that this energy could present. But just generally motivated, passionate, inspired, angry, fired up, irritated, hostile, annoyed. Jupiter at 000 degrees of Aries. This is a strong energy, and we're not used to this energy, you guys. We're used to the Jupiter and Pisces energy. That's what we've had for the past year. That's the energy that we've been used to. I feel like it might take us a little bit of time to adjust to this Jupiter and Aries energy, and as a result, we may find ourselves, again, just feeling like irritated or just annoyed, just that anger a little bit like going on within us, or again, just like ready for a fight or something. I don't know, but I just feel like, it's likely that we're feeling something that is just like firing us up a little bit inside. And I also feel like we're just more self-focused, concerned with our personal thoughts, and where we've been like personally wronged or personally harmed as well, perhaps also in the past, like things that we thought we were over or that we didn't think were bothering us anymore, all of a sudden like coming up, and we're like, oh, well, yeah, I actually have some feelings or some words about that. And like this type of thing could be going on. Jupiter in Aries is, like I said, also expanding the ego and our relationship to ourself, like our personal identity. This is people being like personally flamboyant. You know what I mean? Like this is not having a whole lot of personal boundaries when it comes to expressing our personal truth as well. So, people may be having some interesting reactions to Jupiter re-entering Aries. So just something to be aware of as you're out there navigating the world today. Taking back personal power though, and like I was saying, not letting things slide anymore. If somebody's been used to being taken advantage of, and it's kind of been getting under their skin or whatever, but they've been dealing with it in a more passive way, that's likely to end at this point in time. And it's just not really a good time to be like picking at people or poking at people, or you shouldn't, obviously be doing that anyways, but people are likely to just be standing up for themselves and over any type of treatment that they've just been taking and surrendering to in the past. Pisces is a sign of surrender. Aries is a sign of active assertion and aggression. So where we've been taking things, we're not willing to do that anymore. And that's the vibe for this next year, you guys. And with the moon in Scorpio today, like I said, the anger could be about things from the past and situations from the past that we feel like we just need to address for some reason. Now let's talk about the Sabian symbols for just a second. I want to talk about the position of the Earth today at 29 degrees of Gemini. Jupiter moves into the sign of Aries. The Earth at 29 degrees of Gemini, what's happening on the ground? The first mockingbird of spring sings from the treetops. So that is a very Aries degree. And we're talking about sings from the treetops, personal truth, first mockingbird of spring. People may really be speaking about their plans for the future in this energy. And also, again, just ready to embrace a fresh start. Step into a new version of themselves and really openly identifying at this point in time as this new version going forward. Also, I want to talk about the position of Mars today. Mars is at 12 degrees of Gemini. That Sabian symbol is a slave girl, demands her rights of her mistress. So again, fighting for freedom, fighting for truth, for Mars to be at that degree, ruling the sign of Aries, for Jupiter's entrance into Aries, you guys. I do feel like this is the year where we are going through this personal revolution, where we are breaking the chains from the past that has bound us or kept us out of a state where we were able to go through this process of self-actualization and activate our destiny and come into a more evolved version of ourselves. We are freeing our mind, you guys, and as a result, we are freeing the trajectory of our paths going forward so that we can really recreate this new experience in this new direction in alignment with our passions. It's all heading in that direction, literally talking about breaking free from the chains that have bound us in the past. And then the position, of course, of Jupiter himself, 0.00 degrees of Aries, actually technically not even yet at 1 degree of Aries according to the Sabian symbol, but he will be here. 1 degree of Aries, a woman just risen from the sea, a seal is embracing her. So we are emerging from the water, we are emerging out of the Pisces paradigm, we are coming back into light, we are standing in the sun, you guys, and the light is the life force that is igniting the process going forward. So that's what I have to say, you guys, about our astrology today. Pretty significant day, and from this point in time going forward, the vibe is likely to be a lot different, and we're gonna be feeling pretty fired up and personally powerful, I do believe. Let's talk about the tarot cards for a minute, you guys. Very interesting tarot message that we had coming out today, considering what we've got going on in terms of the astrology. Let's see here. The first card that we had coming out is the Nine of Wands. This is the Wounded Warrior card. This is about somebody who is battered and bruised, but who is not going to give up, who is going to keep pushing forward. This is that divine masculine energy that is going to endure, that is going to go on despite whatever difficulty, is faced along the way. The next card we have coming out is the Tower, followed by the Devil, followed by the Nine of Pentacles with the Three of Swords in reverse on the back of the deck. To me, you guys, what this says is that this Jupiter and Aries cycle is about us persevering through and despite and against all odds to a place of self-actualization and personal independence in one way or another. We have the courage, we have the motivation, we have the inspiration. We're going to make it, okay? We have the Nine of Wands and the Nine of Pentacles. These are two nines, right? These are both about a journey and coming to a point of completion and not giving up. We are on a journey this year, and we may feel battered and we may feel bruised, but ultimately we will have the will and the motivation to do what it takes to succeed in our mission, which is taking us to a point of actually self-actualization, activating our destiny, tapping our resources and potential within us, and coming to a point where we are essentially like the creators of our own destiny. Now, these cards that we had going on in between here, the Tower and the Devil, this is a radical separation, a radical detachment from the things from the past that were keeping us from perceiving our own value and the pain of the past as well. We're healing from the pain of the past. We're detaching ourselves in, what might be an unexpected or a shocking or surprising or an uncomfortable or a scary or an upsetting way, but the ultimate outcome of whatever this experience is severing ties with that which has bound us out of our ability to manifest our true potential. This 2023 year is a year of healing pain, moving out of trauma, detaching and releasing ourselves from our traumas. A lot of that has gone on throughout the course of 2022. Moving into 2023, our job is to keep going and to not look back and to believe in ourselves and to have faith and trust in ourselves and to have faith and trust in the divine and to just find our motivation even in the darkness and to know that, on a higher level and the things that are happening to us right now are really happening to free us in order to come into the truth of our potential. That is what, again, like all of this is about. And I feel like this Nine of Wands, Nine of Pentacles energy, this Jupiter and Aries year is helping us to conquer our demons through radical change, right? The Tower is radical change. It's this Uranus energy. It's things being put right. What's being put right? We're being put right. We're being put right back in alignment with our personal truth and our highest potential and abilities, okay? And we're doing that through a process of endurance and release and dynamic change from the toxic attachments of the past that were perpetually causing us pain and trauma and wounding and keeping us from being able to come to this Nine of Pentacles energy. So that's where I feel like this is going, you guys. Over the course of this year, we may find ourselves really going through some spontaneous, radical shifts and detaching ourselves from things that we've always been attached to or that we've always known. But it's part of a process of helping us grow and come into this place of full development. And that is what this 2023 year, again, I keep feeling like the year of 2023 is the year where we are meant to really step into this better version of ourselves. So that's what we got going on in terms of the tarot message for today. Let's grab a synchronicity card now. One more message, God, Spirit, Universe. What advice can we use to apply to this Jupiter and Aries cycle this year? What do we need to know? Oh, it says love, you guys. If we loveth one another, 1 John 4:12. When two hearts beat as one, oneness, unity, and understanding are shared. The law of attraction brings them together in divine order, and they accomplish great things together. So that's what we need to know, you guys. Love is the answer as we go throughout our day today, and also as we go throughout our Jupiter and Aries cycle. So that's what I have to say today, guys. A message from the stars, a message from the cards. Jupiter moving to the sign of Aries. If you guys liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Share it with your friends if you think they would like this type of astrology content too. Leave me comments, you guys. I really appreciate your comments. Thank you so much for being here. Your feedback means so much to me. I love knowing how these energies are affecting you guys as well. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and a bunch of other social stuff in the description box below if you're into any of that. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. Tomorrow is our winter solstice, and we're going to have a solstice energy talk about, and we will look into the next 6 months as well. So you don't want to miss it. I'll be here. You should be here too. And I will see you then, everybody. Have a beautiful Jupiter into Aries day. Until tomorrow. Bye, guys.